This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. Governments across the world are imposing new restrictions on daily life as they try to stop the coronavirus from spreading. But the World Health Organization warned Monday that while social distancing is welcome and necessary, all countries must put more resources into making testing available. WHO head Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus.
We have a simple message for all countries: test, test, test. Test every suspected case. If they test positive, isolate them and find out who they have been in close contact with.
The United States, as well as many other Western countries, has been criticized for a lack of access to testing, even for those who seek it. The WHO head used test in another context, too.
The days, weeks, and months ahead will be a test of our resolve, a test of our trust in science, and a test of solidarity.
The Trump administration says a foreign disinformation campaign is trying to spread fear about the coronavirus in America. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani has that story.
Federal officials say it's a deliberate attempt to unsettle a nation already on edge. They're not naming the entity they believe responsible for sowing fears of a nationwide quarantine. The National Security Council tweeted last night text messages claiming such a drastic step is coming are fake. Rumors about the government's virus response have been spreading for weeks. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker says he's had senior leaders in various fields ask about them. He's urging residents to find trusted sources of news, saying there's so much information out there, some legit and a lot just wild speculation.
You're listening to VOA News. U.S. stock indexes plunged about 7% on Monday as the Federal Reserve's drastic interest rate cut to near zero stoked fears of a coronavirus-driven recession. Reuters' Conway Gittin has more.
Global markets were in freefall Monday as a deep Federal Reserve interest rate cut to near zero did little to inspire confidence as investors fear the coronavirus pandemic is tipping the economy into recession. Traders say the Fed's Sunday emergency move ahead of an already scheduled meeting this week actually spooked markets because it signals the Fed is scared of the magnitude of the economic weakness to come. That rate cut exhausted the Fed's conventional tools for tackling a crisis, leaving markets to wonder how effective the Fed can be if things get worse. One market watcher told Reuters, when the investor community loses faith in the Fed, that's when the market gets very dangerous.
That's Reuters' Conway Gittins reporting. The International Organization for Migration in Geneva reports that despite Yemen's brutal civil war, tens of thousands of refugees and migrants cross the Gulf of Aden each year into the conflict-ridden country in hopes of reaching Saudi Arabia and finding work. For VOA, Lisa Schlein reports from IOM headquarters in Geneva.
The United Nations considers Yemen the world's worst humanitarian catastrophe. Despite this disastrous situation, migrants from the Horn of Africa remain undeterred in their determination to reach Yemen and then to Saudi Arabia and a hoped-for better life. Last year, the International Organization for Migration reports more than 138,000 people crossed the Gulf of Aden to Yemen. It says an agreement last year between Saudi Arabia and Ethiopia that allows 100,000 Ethiopian workers to travel legally to Saudi Arabia for work has been successful, and the agency calls for it to be extended. Lisa Schlein for VOA News, Geneva.
The death toll from a suspected gas explosion that tore through a residential area of Nigeria's biggest city, Lagos, rose to 19 on Monday as emergency services dug bodies up from the debris. The blast next to an oil pipeline destroyed buildings, trucks, and cars as it tore through a residential area of the sprawling city on Sunday. Initial reports said 50 homes were destroyed. Russia's Constitutional Court on Monday approved a law on constitutional amendments that could allow Russian President Vladimir Putin to remain in power for another 16 years. The law must still be approved in a national referendum that's scheduled for April 22nd. The court's approval date came just 2 days after Putin signed the law. I'm Marissa Melton. You're listening to VOA News.